G'day guys, Dom here and welcome to week 5 of the Friday Blade Drop series. Now these videos seem to be going well. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback and I've been selling a few knives, so we're going to push on with the series. And because of that, I ordered a bunch of studio lighting for in this place. So I've got 2 big lamps, which basically go right next to you guys there, next to the camera, which are going to basically illuminate everything and hopefully give us some better lighting. Because as you saw in the shop tour video I did last week, this is basically just my office, like a section up area of the office where I'm doing all the filming. Anyway, so this week is more of a pen week. That's basically what I've been doing most of the last 2 weeks, is working on pens and other stuff. So no knives today, just pens, but we'll go through it and I'll show you the pens. We'll do some of the history and what makes these pens the price they are. So me and Shane started making these pens about 3 years ago, and this here is actually the prototype. I've actually been carrying this exact pen every day for the last 3 years. You can see it's got some battle damage on there. You can see the logo, that's the old style logo, which we no longer do. And you can see it's been heavily used. There's little scratches in there and everything from where it's rubbed up against keys. But besides that, I mean, the finish is pretty good. And you can see how much it's been like played with. There's an actual polished area on the button itself, which is, I mean, honestly, I'll just sit there and play with this in front of the TV for hours sometimes. That's a big concern people always bring up, is that, is the finish going to stay? I mean, obviously it'll eventually wear off completely in 100 years, but that has seen a significant amount of use and it still looks pretty darn good, I reckon. That's like the Gen 1 prototype style. Now the newer ones are like this. So you see the main change on these things is on the clip. The old ones I was doing what I was calling the graffiti style clip, which I actually like more, but people didn't really get it, that it was supposed to be like, you know, artistic and funky like that. So I've moved on to this style, which is easier to do as well, because I can just basically drop a bunch off at laser work and it looks a lot more professional. So that all the new ones are like this now. And I've also started numbering these on the pantograph. So these all now have serial numbers, which is a nice new feature as well, just to kind of make it a bit more collectible and, you know, fancy for the guys that care about that sort of stuff. So if you look at the pen itself, we've got a nice textured finish that's actually hand ground, and that kind of just flows nicely and slowly fades out into the nice satin finish down here. Now I do that for 2 reasons. Firstly, I want the pen to look different from the standard ones from a distance. Just makes it a little bit nicer, it looks better on a table, at a show and all that sort of stuff. And the second reason, and the main reason, is because these things, we'll take it apart real quick, don't actually have a whole lot of meat there at the threads. So if I was to texture these down all the way to the end, we'd be having a really thin bit of metal right at the threads, and that's potentially a point where it could break. So instead of risking that, I essentially just you know, do a nice fade there, and makes it look nice and classy and helps you make a stronger, more reliable product. Besides that, we've also got bead blasted button here, and if you look inside there, the carrier where the button is screwed into is actually nicely satin finished, and the screws have been given 2-tone satin finishes as well. So it's kind of a whole lot of different finishes in this guy. Essentially every single surface on this pen has been at some point sanded or polished or something to make them function really nicely and to be really very nicely handmade pens. And the action on these is really, really nice. Next up, we've also got the standard version, which is the ones we made originally. So these are essentially the same kind of a deal, except they've got texturing the whole way down. And you can see they've got some nice brushed peaks on there like the other pen does. These are also numbered. They've also got the laser clip, but these ones have a matte screw instead of a 2-tone screw, just because it fits with the rest of the pen. And a new thing that I've been doing in these ones is I've actually been 2-toning the internals of the pen as well, which is something no one's ever really going to see until they change in the cartridge. But you can see I've gone ahead and bead blasted the threaded areas here, and that just kind of makes the pen look a little bit nicer, and when you're taking it apart, it just looks a little bit more special, and you can see that someone spent a lot of time working on these things. This is just a nice, you know, solid pen, solid stainless steel construction. People ask me why I use stainless steel, not titanium. 2 reasons for that. The main reason is price. If I made these out of titanium, they would be double the price, because they're a lot more expensive to machine. The material's a lot more expensive, and then they're also a lot more expensive to texture. I mean, texturing titanium is, by hand like that, would be ridiculously expensive. Me and Shane priced it out once, and it was gonna be like $400 pens. So, I mean, maybe one day I'll do like a very super high-end batch of pens out of titanium, like in this sort of style, but I do like the price point they are right now. And the second reason is I like stainless steel, man. It has that nice expensive weight to it, like it feels expensive, you know what I mean? The titanium ones that I've seen, they feel like plastic, they're so light. These ones have got, they're just, I don't know, they're just a nicer pen, they feel nicer, they're nicer to write with in my opinion. So I'll make them out of stainless steel. Alright, so that's the pens, guys. Thanks for looking. If you're interested in a pen, I do suggest kind of jumping on it quickly because they do tend to sell out quickly. It's just the nature of the beast. They don't make a whole lot of them and there's a lot of demand for them. So jump on it quick because they do tend to sell out within like a day or two. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. The Melbourne Knife Show is next week. So if you're interested in the Melbourne Knife Show, you want to see me in person, you want to talk knives and all that sort of stuff, come to the Melbourne Knife Show. I'll be there. I've got a whole bunch of stuff and I will have a few pens there at this show, as well as some other knives and fancy stuff like that, and beads and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.